The 20th century's most brilliant icon, Albert Einstein, brought to life in a 10-part global TV event that starts tomorrow. It's called Genius. Actors Geoffrey Rush and Johnny Flynn both play Einstein, but at various points in his life. Good morning, gentlemen. How are you doing this morning?
Very good.
Great,
thanks.
Mike. Thank you.
How are you?
Hey, good. I'm fascinated by this, and I think it's crazy how much you guys look like Einstein at various points in his life. And I think, Geoffrey, you more so, because we remember Einstein in his later years like that look. But this look at Einstein is kind of based on a book, though, isn't it? What does it focus on?
Look, it covers, but over the 10 hours of the series, it really, in a non-linear way, it kind of covers his life. You get glimpses of him even when he's 5. That's towards the end of the series, right up until his death when he was 76. So it's a kind of mammoth epic.
Yeah, and there's some impressive names behind this project. Ron Howard on this, right? Brian Grazer among them. How did this really come about?
Well, Ron kind of leapt onto it. Nat Geo took the idea that they were going to move into their first scripted drama series, and I think on their wish list they said, wouldn't it be great if someone like Ron Howard would direct the first episode at least? And they met with Ron, and Ron went, I love to do it. No, that's my bad Ron Howard impression. He just jumped on board with his company, Imagine, and this was only in March last year, and by September, they had the scripts fired up, and they were shooting. You started shooting in September.
I think before that as well, they had Ken Biller, who was a showrunner, fantastic showrunner, who directed a bunch of the episodes at the end as well, and Noah Pink, who wrote a couple of the episodes and was one of the execs, really talented young writer. They were shopping the idea around for a while, and they originally tried to have it as a movie, and then they realized they just couldn't capture the life in 2.5 hours or whatever. So it became a big 10-hour thing. So
yeah,
and we're pretty pleased about that.
Yeah, and Johnny, I'm pointing out the obvious here, but Johnny, you're younger than Geoffrey. Geoffrey, sorry to point that out, but so you play the younger version of Einstein. What did you learn about Einstein?
Well, the period I played him from age 15 to about 38 or 40. That's the period that we don't have much footage of him. We have his letters, and we have anecdotes and some photographs, but not as many, obviously, as after the point when he became a huge celebrity, around the time that we change over and it becomes Geoffrey overnight. And for me, it was about just doing the research, but treating him like a character, like you would in a play or a piece of fictional drama, and just holding on to what's in the writing and what is important. And then we had to play a game of actorial tag that Geoffrey kind of taught me, because he'd played shared a character in the movie Shine before, and shared what worked in that instance. So we did games, and we did a lot of work together, and we talked. And
we had to sort of become like an Einstein club sandwich with a giant toothpick through the middle of it, so that everyone believed we were the same person. But when Johnny and I were talking by Skype before we met in London and then shooting in Prague, and I said, when I look at photos of myself, even when I was a teenager or in my 20s, I'm looking at another person, and I don't even recognize them. I said, but as long as we can take on some of the attributes. And because in Einstein's life, he started out such a he was like a kind of bohemian poet. And then later in life, he became a very kind of bourgeois Berliner, comfortable, well-off because of his celebrity. But that gave him a lot of time to sit and think, which he really enjoyed doing. That was his lifeblood.
Yeah.
So we were just playing around with those things, and trying to break away from the emoji Einstein that everyone thinks of just the hair, and kind of go inside the many layers of personality that he had.
But you know, what was new to us was finding, like he was a hot-tempered, passionate young man with these kind of bursting with these ideas, and nobody believed him. So he met this kind of glass roof of resistance, and he had to break that and be a kind of punk and a rebel to get his views heard.
Well, this is fascinating, and it all kicks off tonight, and Geoffrey has some more questions for you. You're an Academy Award winner. I had a whole bunch of questions for you. We got caught up in this, though, but Genius kicks off tonight on National Geographic at 8 o'clock Central Time. I think I said tomorrow, but it is tonight at 8 o'clock. Gentlemen, thanks, and good luck with this series. We appreciate you taking the time this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike.
Cheers.
Thank you.
You betcha. Kayla, over to you.